Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody today? Give a minute, see if anybody starts coming in. Bud Files, hello. How are you? Yeah, looks like a couple of people are popping in now. It is 108 degrees today. It was 112 yesterday. We are in for, the next 10-day forecast is over 100 the whole time. So it's going to be a fun week. I've been working hard to keep the garden watered and hydrated because it's been tough. I have been sick for almost 2 weeks now. You can probably hear it in my voice. I still have a little bit of the lingering cough and the lingering sinusy stuff going on and all that good stuff that goes with it. So excuse me if I have to stop the camera and mute myself because I have to cough or something, but I will try not to have to do that. Rita's Roost, hello, how are you? So anyway, like I said, 108 degrees today, 112 yesterday, I think 106 tomorrow, over 100 for the next 10 days at least. So we are officially in our wonderful California summers. So anyway, I have a garden update video that will be coming out on Monday. And then I did get some snap beans canned, and that video will be coming out on Friday. So even though it's been hot, I've been able to do a few things. I just have to do them first thing in the morning because by the time, noon at the latest, you cannot be out there doing anything. And most of you guys who watch any of my videos know that my canning kitchen is outside. So once it gets hot, you can forget me doing much. I knew what you meant. So I always have to plan everything where I'm first thing in the morning, get out there and get something done. Because like I said, by noon, that's it. That's all you can do out there. And, I can't do really any of my canning or anything inside, even when it's hot, because I have a electric glass top stove in my kitchen, and it's not a very good one, really. So I'm going to be afraid to do any of that kind of stuff in my kitchen. So coffee walks and whatever. Hello. Thank you for popping in. And today is really not much of a subject. It's just kind of a chit chat, see how things are going. I am going to go ahead and put the link in here in case anyone is interested in coming up. Da-da-da. Just in case. And then I probably should let's see if I can pin it. There we go. That way, if anybody decides they want to come up, we can chit chat a little bit. At work just popped in. Well, I'm glad you did. Thank you so much. I know things are just a little different now that I am doing my lives during the week again, but it's the way I have to do it because we have too much stuff going on the weekends, and so every time I try and plan, I was trying to do my videos on Saturdays, and I couldn't make it happen. So anyway, so far I think we're going to stick to this time slot. I think it's going to work once once we get the flow. Another problem I have is I need to get better about scheduling my lives ahead of time. As a matter of fact, I think when we're done here today, I'm going to schedule out 3 or 4 of them so that they're already scheduled. And otherwise, people don't know for sure if I'm popping in or not, especially when, like last week I canceled because of being sick. So I need to just schedule them out so that people know that I will be here. So, but thank you for popping in. I do appreciate that. And like I said, I did the garden tour video. I cannot believe my green beans and my cucumbers. I have I believe it is a 6-foot, 4, 5, yeah, it's about 6-foot trellis on that one is, I get them mixed up. One of them is 16 feet, one of them is 18 feet. I think this is the 16-foot bed. Anyway, the trellis goes across the whole thing, and right now it looks like I have a wall of vines because the whole thing is covered with the cucumbers and the snap beans. What is it? Blue Lake green beans. So I think I have picked, I'm in the global gardening and homesteading community, so I keep track of everything that I pick. And I think right now, so far, the golden, what is it? I can't remember. Golden wax beans. Those are bush beans. And, that means that they're going to produce almost everything within, it's about a month, I guess. And then they're done. So I think those are almost done. And I have picked about 5 or 6 pounds, which is a lot because, those don't weigh much. And I only had, I think, 6 or 7 plants across that one little section. But those are almost done. The green beans I really have just started picking in the last week. And, those are pole beans, which means they're going to, as long as you keep picking them, they will continue to produce throughout the, which in my area, it's kind of hard to tell how the season's going to be because it's so dang hot. Sometimes it gets too hot. And like I said, I'm doing my best to keep everything watered and hydrated and cooled so that it'll last as long as possible. But so far, just in this last week or so, I have picked about 1.5 pounds or so of the green ones. And then I have picked about 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-ish pickling cucumbers, little ones. I think I picked one of the little Mexican gray zucchinis. I picked, no, I'll probably pick that tomorrow. I have what is that called? What's the word? Ronde de Nice or something like that. It's the little round zucchini cucumber. They look like a little melon. My first one of those is about ready to pick, so I'll probably pick that tomorrow. And I've got, at least 5 or 6 tomatoes that are probably within the week. I'll be picking those. And I have some more squash that's about ready. So the garden is starting to finally ramp up a little bit. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate it, and we'll see you later. So yeah, it's going to be nice finally getting some stuff going. And then I have some fruit trees that my pluots are ready. I don't know, not really a whole lot I do with those we eat as much as we can fresh. Um, I've tried canning them, and we don't really use them, so I'm not going to do that this year. Um, I will probably juice a few just to use for flavoring for wine and kombucha. Might even try making a syrup because those pluots are really good, very sweet and very flavorful. So those are ready. I didn't get a lot of peaches. I mean, I picked about, trying to remember how much it was, 20, I think it was 20 pounds that I picked for a lady at work. She needed them for something. And then the rest we've just basically been eating. Uh, so I haven't really, I didn't get this is kind of the off year. We're not really getting a whole lot this year on the peaches. My pears are probably, they're probably still another month or so away from being ready. But anyway, it's going to start getting very, very busy for me. But that's okay. That's the way I like it. I stay that way pretty much year round. So, um, Canadian fishing musician Rich, hello. How are you? On the road. Well, thank you for popping in. I do appreciate that. Um, so anyway, yeah, just lots of stuff coming up in the garden, lots of fruit getting ready to come up on the fruit trees, and which means lots of canning stuff to get ready for. Now, I usually try and, I talk about like juicing certain things and stuff like that, but I try and save the winemaking and some of the jellies and stuff like that that I'm going to do with the juice for when it starts to cool off and the garden's done and I don't have a lot of that, a lot of videos to make. Um, I like to save that for when the weather is starting to get a little colder and stuff. So if I'm going to do, like I did some jam because those work best with some of the fresh fruits. Sometimes I'll go ahead and do those during the season, but I try and save most of it for the vegetables and stuff that need to come in because that stuff starts coming in and it's not like you can, I mean, some things you can freeze and then process later, but a lot of it you really can't. You either have to choose if you're going to freeze it or if you're going to can it because once you freeze it, then it starts getting mushy and stuff and the canning doesn't work very well. So anyway, most of the garden stuff I try and do as it comes in. So anyway, I did, like I said, I canned some green beans, a total of about 6 pounds, 6.5 pounds, something like that. I think I got 15, well, I think it was 12 pint-sized jars, but I also had a package of French beans that I picked up at grocery outlet that was marked down to like 50 cents. And so there was 3 jars of those also included in there. But all of it together was about 15 jars that I did yesterday. So like I said, that video will be coming out on Friday. So anyway, I'm back in the swing of things. Other than being sick was a little bit of a hiccup, but that's okay. Back in the swing of things with getting some videos done and getting some content out there. So, and I am, watch hours are, I don't think I'm ever going to hit my watch hours. I think I'm at, what is it, 11, let me look. 1120 on subscribers, but I am only at 2249 for watch hours. So I need, 750 to get that first milestone for the supers, stuff like that, but I need 1750 for getting monetized. So anyway, if I could keep the content coming out on a regular basis, I would be okay. But it's taking forever. So anyway, I'll get there eventually. I'm not gonna stress about it. It'll happen when it happens. So right, 3,000 for all of the supers and for memberships and things like that. But you still have to have 4,000 for the regular AdSense monetization. So yeah, that's why I was saying, another 750-ish, and I'll hit the first requirement of the 3,000 hours, where I can get the supers and I can do memberships and stuff like that. But again, you still have to be 4,000 for the AdSense. But like I said, I will get there. I'm not going to stress about it too much. It'll happen when it happens. And I'm just going to keep putting the video out there, doing what I like to do. And we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I was kind of excited when they changed the requirements, but at the same time, you still have to have the 4,000 for the AdSense, which I know is where the bulk of it is going to come from. I think. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how any of this works. I can't imagine people would want to send me money for super chats and super thanks and things like that. So I would imagine most of mine would come from AdSense, but I'll get there. No worries. But yeah, I have not watched a lot of videos in the last 2 weeks. I have not been on hardly any lives in the last 2 weeks. I have not done much of anything because I was sick, my husband was sick, and so I'm just now starting to, like I said, I have a lingering cough, I have a lingering congestion, but for the most part, finally getting better. So back to normal again. It seems like it's always something around here. All kinds of hiccups going on. I've been focusing on reviews associated with my new niche and searchable content affiliated with everything around my channel. Yeah, I've been I need to get a little more serious about it, but I have been looking at a lot of different things that focus. The problem is, my niche is, I guess you could say homesteading or that type of content, but that consists of a lot of things. So, I'm a canning channel, and I'm a cooking channel, and I'm a shopping channel sometimes, and I'm a garden channel, and I'm, DIY stuff sometimes, and there's a lot to it. So the niching, I think I have a little bit of a hard time with. It would be easy if I was a canning channel. My videos would be about all things canning, but because I am more of homesteading, there's a lot more subjects to cover, I guess you could say. So sometimes I have a little bit of a hard time. I'm finding out, the one thing I have figured out is no. I know that. You don't ever, I never take you that way. Yeah, you're good, Rich. Not a problem at all. I always appreciate the feedback. But anyway, I'm finding that most of my, I guess what you would call evergreen content, and my most watched videos on a consistent basis are over a year old, and they are all about like recanning, like buying number 10 cans of tomato sauce and recanning it into the small jars. Or I did that with some uh, peppers and some relish and some picante sauce and different things like that. So people are really, really watching the stuff that you can buy in bulk and then recan into smaller quantities. And like I said, on a consistent basis, week after week after week, my top watched videos are always those older ones. And like I said, some of them are about a year old, and there's a couple of them even that are 2 years old. So, I mean, to me, that would be evergreen since they're consistently being watched. Um, but I haven't. I know I should probably put out a few more of those kind of videos. I just haven't been able to. So I've been trying to pay attention to what does well and what doesn't, so that I can not necessarily duplicate, but duplicate the idea, so that I can be putting out what people want to see. But at the same time, my niche is somewhat seasonal, so a lot of stuff that I do is, it's just based on what's going on that time of year, and there really isn't a whole lot I can do about that. So, miss anybody else? No. So anyway, like I said, not a whole lot really going on. I mean, it's funny when I say that because I always have a ton of things going on, but it's kind of the same old thing. It's the garden, and it's preserving what I have in the garden, and taking care of the animals, the chickens, that kind of fun stuff. Um, but I do have several videos that I have started, things like juicing some stuff, some blueberries and some strawberries and different things, where I have filmed the first part of it, and then now as I make a couple of different things out of those, I have to finish the videos. So some of those will be coming. And then, like I said, I'm going to have quite a bit of stuff coming in from the garden to do. And I think I am going to do one of the recanning videos pretty soon. I did buy some bulk items that I need to put away. So anything and everything that helps you homestead, cook or garden, make it searchable by putting the product names and titles and create interest or challenge. The titles. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the areas I need to work on the most is searchable titles and clickable thumbnails. I'm trying to work on that. I don't always know quite what to do, but I am working on that. I think that's my biggest thing to work on right now. Yeah, searchable for a lifetime. Yeah, I get that. And like those videos that are from a year ago and 2 years ago, those titles were simple. I mean, it's funny how, let me look at something. No, 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 no. Ah. Stop. Just hold on. Let me let them out real quick. Sorry about that. Um, yeah. I know. I've been busy. I've been sick. I really haven't been able to do a whole lot. But But anyway, the titles for like my top performing video period is from September of 2021, and it just says canning number 10 cans, tomatoes, how to can tomato sauce. That's it. But then I try and do some of these, other kind of titles that they tell you to do. Like one of them was that I did a unbelievably delicious, my secret recipe for kumquat marmalade. And that video did okay, but nowhere near as good as some of the simple stuff. So, I don't know. Sometimes I don't quite know what the right thing to do is, but I'm working on it. I will get there. Kevin, hello. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, but anyway, I'm not stressing about it. I figure if I'm learning a little bit at a time, then I'm doing fine. And like I said, right now, I think the thumbnails and the titles is the one thing I'm trying to work on the most right now. So we'll see what happens. Sometimes simple is better, straightforward, exactly what people might be looking for, and sometimes getting a little what clickbaity, as long as it's still true, works better. I think it just depends on what the subject is. So anyway, enough about that. uh, we never get to pick which videos we'll do. It's usually a surprise, but we kind of key. Yep, I agree with that because sometimes I put videos out and the ones that I think are going to do well don't, and the ones that I think are kind of stupid are the ones that end up doing well. So who's to say? The thing I'm having a hard time with is I really want to do more shorts, but I want to do the kind that tie into the videos that I already have. So, like, even if it's just little short clips out of some of the videos that I have. But then I have a hard time with, like, I feel like it's incomplete if I put a little short out there that doesn't tell the whole story. And, you know, 1 minute is not enough time to tell the whole story. So I know the idea is to get people to want to click on a long form video, but then I have a hard time just figuring out which part of that video is what I should put out in the short. So I think that's another thing I need to work on is I really need to figure out how to make the shorts work for me. Trial and error. Yep. But honestly, for somebody who's never, yeah, yep, I agree with that, Kevin. For somebody who's never really been into any type of video production, video editing, never done any type of trying to create thumbnails or get creative with teasers or ways to make people want to look at it. I was new to even just being on camera. It took me forever to feel halfway comfortable talking to the camera while I was filming. I'm still not always comfortable. I think I have the hardest time with the lives because I don't always know what to talk about if I don't have the outline in front of me. But considering that all of that stuff was new to me when I started, and I had nobody that I knew who does YouTube, and I had to learn everything from the get-go, all by myself, just doing research and trial and error and the whole 9 yards. And so, considering all of that, I think I've done pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with where I'm at the time. CFM Queen Judy, hello. I have a hard time even trying to promote myself. Yes, and I get that is tough. Sometimes, I really want to tell people, we had certain subjects, certain things that are being talked about. Hey, I got a YouTube channel, I got a video that will tell you how to do that. Sometimes that's hard to do. Not by far, not where I want it to be either. But that's the beauty. Enjoy the growth and learning. It's a passion that must run deeper than the analytics or monetization. I totally agree with that. That's why I think was it on the last live or the one before was talking about how I am not going to change the person that I am. If I get on video and be funny, tell jokes or be more animated or have those taglines people use or there's a lot of things that I could do to make my interesting, and I know that. That's just but that's not who I am, and I don't want to start doing that stuff if it's not the way I continuously do it. I just want to be me. So if people are going to subscribe to watch me, this is what they're going to get. They're going to get me the way that I am. And I really do not want to change who I am or try to be anything different just to get growth. So I would rather grow slower and get the people who really do appreciate me for who I am. Always tried to be humble and I know quite and shy. But you know what? People like me for just being me. Yep. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Find one's tribe. Yep. I agree. And like I said, if it means a slower growth, I'm okay with that because I'm not going to change who I am. This is who I am. I'm not an animated person. I'm not. Some people even accuse me of being a little bit monotone in the way I talk, and that's me. That's who I am. So you're either going to take it or you're going to leave it, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that. Exactly. Yeah, it seems to me like if you're trying to, I understand planning your videos ahead. Um, and again, it's another one of those, it depends on what kind of niche you're in. I mean, if I'm, like canning my green beans, this is the process of canning your green beans from start to finish. It is what it is. You really can't change what it is. So trying to plan in advance places where you can change it up and add more flair to it or whatever. It's canning green beans. There's not a lot of flair to canning green beans. It makes it hard sometimes just because of the niche I'm in to know where you can add that kind of stuff. Okay, thank you. Shut the door. Yeah. Crack you up. Well, some people tell me that I am funny, but I think that's more on my lives because I am what I am. Um, but it is kind of funny because some people will say things about my personality or how I am or whatever, and I don't see it. I don't understand it. And just, you know, I don't know. I am what I am. Yeah, Rich, you are totally correct. And that's why I say I'd rather just grow slow and have people who appreciate me for who I am and want to watch me for who I am. So even if it means it takes longer. Because, you know, I see people on here, even in my niche, that have been on here, you know, some of them 6 months, maybe a year, and they've already been monetized and beyond. And, you know, I've been doing this last month was 2 years for me. Now, again, I know it would have been a lot different if I didn't have several uh, life changing events that went on in my life. That would have changed things, and I know that. But it's still 2 years, and sometimes I feel like I should be farther than I am, but sometimes I feel like I'm probably actually doing pretty darn good considering the circumstances that have happened in those 2 years. So, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. I'll get there when I get there. uh, I'm also trying to figure out, you know, I did that series on essential homesteading skills, and that was okay. It was just kind of getting my feet wet on how to do like a series, and I'm trying to think of some other topics that I can do that way. Maybe not necessarily in a series, but where, you know, once a week or once a month, even something specific to talk about. Um, I don't know. Something I've been playing with. Oh, the creepy. Rebecca, if you're talking about the um, potholder things, yes, I did. And I am going to be doing a mail call video sometime during the next week or so. So that will be in there. If that's not what you're talking about, then no, I have no idea. But thank you for popping in, Rebecca. I appreciate it. And that was my husband that came in the door a while ago. I guess his sister is staying with us for a while, and she had to go into uh, Fresno, Clovis actually, and apparently she brought us some lunch on her way back. But yeah, yeah, she sent me a hat before, um, and then she just sent me some of the. Well, it's not just. It's been actually I got them what a few weeks ago, but I'm very very late on getting my mail call out. But like I said, I've been sick for almost 2 weeks, so I have some catching up to do. I have what 5, 6 packages that I need to do. Uh, Thank you, Rich. I appreciate that. Yeah, and you know, there's only like 20 minutes left. I did pin the StreamYard link up at the top if anybody wants to come up. Yeah, I was talking about that, Judy, a little bit earlier. My husband and I both got that really, really awful cold that's been going around. And of course, I'm a smoker, so it settled in my chest too. And I'm finally feeling better now, but you can probably hear it in my voice. I still have the lingering cough and some of the congestion and stuff that's going on with, with it. But I am feeling better. So, but anyway, yep. So I am going to be working on the 2 videos that I'm getting ready to put out this week that are ready to go. I'm going to try and work a little bit more on the titles and the thumbnails since I have plenty of time. And that's kind of the idea why I'm trying to get a little bit ahead of myself, even if it's just a week or two, so that I have plenty of time to work on those things also. But I don't know, sometimes, again, it's back to like the green beans. For the thumbnail, it's like I don't really know what to do to make it more clickable. It's just canning green beans. So I don't know. Maybe I'll figure something out. We'll see. All right, well, if nobody's going to come up here, then I think I'm going to go ahead and call it and go eat my lunch. Since my sister-in-law was so nice to bring us something to eat. So I do appreciate all of you guys that came in. Camera shy at the moment. You know, it's funny because I find that a little bit hard to believe. I do not have a bronchial asthma puffer. No. But I am getting better. It's just a little bit of a lingering thing going on right now. But anyway, I think I am going to go ahead and just go ahead and go eat my lunch. Yeah, get it out of my lungs. I've been trying to do that. Oh, there's Rebecca.
I was wondering if you'd
Hello.
gotten it. Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Let's see.
Janet?
Okay.
Can you
Can you
hear
hear me
me?
now? Yes, I hear you.
Okay. Okay.
I had my volume turned down on everything, so I had to fix it.
Oh, okay. But
How are
yeah,
you doing?
I'm doing great. But yeah, I was wondering. I was like, okay, did she get it? You know, because I hadn't heard anything from you. And
Yeah, I was saying I haven't really been on any lives lately. I haven't really been talking to anybody lately because, like I said, I've been sick for almost 2 weeks, and
wow.
so I'm just now getting back to, I missed my live last week, and so I'm kind of just now getting back to getting in touch again. So,
well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I do have, like I said, I have at least 5, if not more, packages I got to do a mail call on. So I'll be getting to those this week.
Well, that's definitely not a problem. Are you getting the notifications of what I'm doing on my channel or not?
I don't think I am, actually.
Well, my birthday is next Wednesday.
Okay.
And I'm going live.
Okay.
For my birthday. So.
Okay. Early in the day, late in the day?
It's gonna be at 1:00.
1 o'clock Central?
Central, yes.
Okay. I might be able to stop in for a little bit.
Oh, I hope you can. I really do. Yeah, I figured I'd give back instead of receiving birthday presents. I'm gonna give people some things that I have
That's
here.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah, I've been saving up for my monetization. I got all kinds of stuff here. But like I said, it seems like it's taking forever to get there. So
it always does. I just figured, hey, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm having to take a hat apart because I don't have enough of the yarn that I need to make a hunter orange hat. And I kind of need to, I don't want to take the loom with me, so I'm going to take this. I just took it off.
Yeah.
I need to find some of this yarn because this is going to be a little bit different because they want it where it's camouflaged on the outside and then be able to switch it. And I'm doing it on this.
Right.
So what I ended up starting was that I didn't do the band. You know how I do the band? I did the one that's the orange that's going to be on the inside without the band. And what my thought was, you know, I don't know if it's going to work, but putting this, when I start that band, is putting this in there and fastening it with it, you know, so that they can turn it.
Right.
You know, so I'm working through this process to see if I can do that.
Right.
But yeah, this, I didn't have enough of this heavier orange yarn, so
Right.
so it's
Always
kind of like,
fun when you have to take something apart.
well, it makes it really easy because all you do is you pull it out through the, you know, where the loops are.
Right.
You know, so I just removed it. You know, yeah. I just thought I'd come up here and say, hey, that's, you know, I was like wondering if you had gotten it because one time I'd shipped something to somebody and it's never been found.
Right. Yeah. Mine's still sitting up there in the box. I try not to use, or the package anyway, I try not to use any of the stuff that I get until after I've done the mail call. Because I set it right here on the top shelf so that I know what I still have to do. So,
yeah,
like I said, I'll get that out this week.
that'll be great. I'll be watching for it.
Okay, cool.
You know, well, I've got to undo this and I'm going to take this yarn with me and, you know, hi, Rita.
Hello.
I said hi to her. That's my brother, Ronald.
Right, I've seen him many times.
Yeah.
All right, well, I am going to go eat some lunch. So,
okay. Yeah, have
thank
a
you
great
for popping up.
day, Janet.
You
Thank
too.
You.
Bye, Ronald.
Everybody have a great day. Bye-bye.
Okay, guys. Well, I am going to jump off here now. I'm going to go eat some lunch. And I do appreciate all of you guys who stopped in. And again, I hope I see you on the next one.